We present Anything Legal by Warrie K. Daly, starring Donald Hewlett and Michael Knowles, with special guests Sherrie Hewson and Helena Breck.
And finally, you may be interested to know that I speak French, Italian and German fluently.
Really? It's very impressive, wouldn't you say, Charles?
Oh, yes, it's quite fascinating.
Plus a working knowledge of Spanish, Russian and Chinese. Mandarin, of course.
Of course, yes, as one would have expected. Oh, I seem to have covered the ground pretty thoroughly.
Oh, yes, more than thoroughly, in fact.
Quite. Well, many thanks for coming along for the interview.
It's my pleasure, gentlemen. And you'll let me know about the job?
But of course, as soon as we've made our decision.
Goodbye, then.
Bye.
Bye. What do you say?
I said...
Yes, I thought that's what you said. Have a seat, George, and let's discuss it.
So, what do you think, Charles?
Pretty impressive.
I'd say so.
There's no question that girl has got the techniques of office routine off to a T.
No question about it.
Her typing was undoubtedly excellent.
First class.
Absolutely.
She whopped through the quick brown fox, jumped over the lazy cat, quicker than you could say, here, pussy. Amazing.
It was a dog, actually.
Pardon?
It was a dog the quick brown fox jumped over rather than a cat.
Ah, that explains it.
Explains what, George?
Why the cat didn't wake up.
What cat?
The lazy one that wasn't jumped over by the quick brown fox. In the phrase you gave her to type. I mean, a dog would perhaps have slept on, but a cat's sixth sense would probably have warned it in time of the presence of the quick brown fox. About to jump. Wouldn't it?
You realise you're talking complete gibberish, don't you, George?
Am I?
Totally. What difference does it make whether the quick brown fox jumped over a cat or a dog?
That's what I thought. But it was you who drew my attention to the fact I got it wrong.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, well, better get on. What were we talking about?
The excellence of the young lady's typing.
Oh, of course, yes. And her shorthand, come to that.
Quite staggering. Particularly at the pace you were dictating.
Well, I thought if we could trip her up at that stage, she wouldn't feel so bad if we decided finally to turn her down.
Good thinking.
Typing and shorthand, excellent. Knows bookkeeping backwards and files with the efficiency of a head librarian.
Neat in manner, well-coiffured, demure in demeanour.
Not to mention all those damn languages.
Got an awful lot going for her, Charles.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, George, I'd hate to be thought of as an old male chauvinist pig.
Perish the thought.
One's certainly not simply looking for a chocolate box.
Of course not.
But, could you honestly live with that face day after day?
You've got a point there.
I've seen prettier Sherman tanks.
Yes.
Just not on, I'm afraid.
Couldn't agree more. So, where do we go from here?
Well, we've got to have a secretary. There's no two ways about it. We're out half the time, and people are simply ignoring the answer phone machine we've installed, slamming the receiver down before our message is completed even.
Yes, dreadfully rude. Mind you, I do sympathise. I never answer them for a start.
Me neither.
Actually, I do think your singing message might have got a few more to hang on to the end and record their name and phone number.
Well, I hoped it would.
Lovely song, beautifully sung, and one would have thought irresistible.
Oh, do you really think so?
Yes, delightful. We are out of the office, and we are on the job, striving most mightily to make an honest bob. Please leave your number, and after that your name. We will return soon and ring you back again. We'll ring you back again.
Yes, not bad at all, was it? Grammar's a bit shaky, but it ought to have done the trick. But did it?
Not a sausage.
Exactly, except for that one comedian who replied, "No, I'll not leave you my number and my name. Don't give a monkeys, I'll never ring again. It's now that I want help, so I'll call another firm. Answer phones are useless, but people never learn. People never learn.
What a terribly good memory you've got,
Oh,
Charles.
I don't forget things like that in a hurry.
No. Still, not a patch on your song.
Oh, thank you, George.
So, what do we do now?
Oh, exactly what we are doing, George. Interview our secretarial applicants diligently, checking their typing, shorthand, filing ability, and business acumen. Plus, of course, their poise, presence, and general demeanour.
And making sure that they don't look like the back end of a bus.
Absolutely. After all, we don't want to frighten clients away. I mean, that last one could have been usefully employed as a guard dog.
Exactly.
This will be the next one now. She'll be, Miss B. Bustrom. Don't just stand there, George. Let her in.
Oh, sorry. One of my daisies.
You seem to be having a lot of those these days.
Yes, well, here goes. Would you come in, Miss... Good Lord.
Hello, my name's Belinda. Belinda Bustrom, but you can call me Busty if you like. All my friends do.
I'm not surprised. I'll move out of the way so you can squeeze past.
You're too kind.
Nice of you to mention it.
Oh, hello. You must be the senior partner, if your lovely silver hair is anything to go by.
No, we're both equals. My partner, Mr. Smythe.
Feel free to call me George.
George.
Mr. Smythe and I.
And you're Mr...
Feel free to call me Charles.
Charles.
Yes.
You're both too kind. I'm going to enjoy working here.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Control, George. You're starting to steam the windows up.
Sorry, Charles.
And are there any sleeping partners in the firm that I'll be coming into contact with?
No, but I'm sure something could be arranged.
George.
Sorry, Charles. Sort of slipped out.
Well, don't let it slip out again. Now, perhaps we could get your details down on paper.
Oh, but of course.
Would you like to take a seat, Chesty?
Who's Busty?
Sorry. Busty it is. Here we are.
George, could I have a word?
Oh, yes. Shan't be a sec, Busty.
Excuse us, Miss...
Busty, remember?
Yes.
What is it, Charles?
For goodness sake, stop fawning.
Fawning?
If fawning, pulling out the chair and flicking it with your hanky like that.
I just noticed it was somewhat dusty for Busty.
There have been backsides on and off that chair all morning. It's got a sheen like a French polisher's finishing rag.
I was just trying to make her feel welcome.
Make her feel any more welcome, George, and chances are she'll end up as an equal partner before the interview's over. Decorum must be the order of the day.
It's difficult, Charles.
Well, any more lusty thoughts, simply think Hillary, and that should sort it out at a stroke.
Good God. Hillary, you're right. Total mental cold shower.
That's a good chap. Right, let's get back to the interview.
Good.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Miss Bustrom. My partner and I were just discussing points to be covered.
Yes, speaking of which, I do like that blouse of yours, Busty.
Oh, thank you.
George. Sorry. Hillary.
Beg pardon?
Oh, sorry. I was just having a quick cold shower. Thinking out loud.
Perhaps we should get down to brass tacks, Miss Bustrom.
As you wish, Charles.
A little tickle.
Well, later, perhaps.
Now, about your typing.
That's fine. I've got it well in hand. My classes are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Classes?
Yes, I booked them this morning.
You mean you can't type?
Oh, yes, I can. This finger and this finger. But I thought if I was going to make a good impression around the office, it might be best if I learnt to use all my fingers. Clients are impressed by that sort of thing, aren't they?
I see. Isn't that marvellous, Charles? Before she's even been offered the job, she's going out of her way to improve our office image.
So you're attending typing classes 3 evenings a week for typing?
Oh, well, that's where I did hit a teeny-weeny snag. Thursday I managed to get an evening class, but Tuesday and Friday they just couldn't fit me in. So it had to be afternoons, I'm afraid.
So you wouldn't be free to be here on Tuesday or Friday afternoon?
Well, not during term time, no. But I would be quite happy to come in on those evenings and stay late if there was anything either of you would like me to do.
George.
Hillary.
Now, how about shorthand?
Well, being quite honest, I don't think there should be that sort of deception between boss and secretary.
Deception?
Yes, you know, when the secretary quickly writes, well, Lord knows what into her shorthand pad, and the boss can't even lean over her shoulder to check what she's actually got written down there, because to him it's gibberish. I mean, she could be writing absolutely anything.
Gosh, never thought of that.
Whereas the way I write in my pad in clear, legible longhand, it may be slow, but the boss is quite at liberty at any time to lean over my shoulder and see at a glance exactly what I've got down there.
I should imagine he would. Right, so far, no shorthand, 2-finger typing. How about filing?
Oh, no, you wouldn't catch me doing that, you'll be pleased to hear. I know lots of girls who waste an awful lot of the boss's time with filing. But I've discovered the answer.
Oh, really? What's that?
I go for a manicure at least twice a week. And that virtually guarantees no need to file during office hours.
Oh, that's awfully thoughtful of you. Must go down as a plus, wouldn't you say, Charles?
I was actually thinking about office filing, Miss Bustrom. You know, apple under A, boy under B.
Cat under C?
That's the one.
Congratulations, Busty.
Oh, thank you.
She soon got to grips with that one, didn't she, Charles?
Actually, I'm not awfully good at what letters come where without first running through the alphabet in my head. But I should imagine I'll soon get the hang of it with practice.
Yes. Well, I think that just about covers everything. Your general manner and demeanour leave nothing to be desired.
I should say not.
No, you should not say not, George.
Sorry.
Well, Miss Bustrom, we do have a few other people to see, but we'll let you know our decision very shortly.
Oh, you mean I haven't got the job?
Oh, no, he certainly doesn't mean that, do you, Charles?
Oh, no, I wouldn't go that far. It's just, we do have a few more applicants to see.
Oh, you do mean that? I can see it in your eyes.
Oh, no, honestly.
I knew I wouldn't get this job. I just knew it. Every time I want something really badly, it gets snatched away from me. Life is so unfair.
Good Lord. What do we do now, Charles?
Oh, the Lord knows. I've never been faced with a situation like this since we had that trouble with the camel driver's daughter in Khartoum.
Oh, her great crybaby.
Yes. You better pat her and say, there, perhaps.
Well, where shall I pat her?
Yeah, that's a jolly good question. Just think Hillary and pat her platonically on the shoulder.
Like this? There.
She's going to bring the whole building down if she goes on like this. What on earth can we do to placate her?
Take her on for a 3-day trial, perhaps.
We can't, George. It's preposterous. She can't type, she can't do shorthand, doesn't know the alphabet, and filing makes her think of her nails. If she's a secretary, I'm the king of Siam.
Well, what do you suggest, Charles? If the police don't arrive soon to find out what's going on in here, I'll eat your Siamese crown.
Oh, all right, damn it. But I think we're going to rule this move, George. Really, really rule it. Miss Bustrom.
Charles, has some good news for you, Busty.
Yes, we've decided to take you on for a trial period.
You mean it?
Well, just a trial period, 3 days, perhaps. Or we could make it a week.
Oh, a week would be perfect. I'll prove myself indispensable to you in a week. Oh, thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'm so happy I could... Oh, dash it, I will.
No, this isn't necessary. Please, Miss Bustrom.
Careful, Charles. Remember your bad back.
Oh, thank
And now
goodness.
you gorgeous.
No.
Oh, George, think Hillary, man. Think Hillary.
Hillary.
Don't give up, man. Oh.
Did you say something, Charles?
No, nothing.
Oh. There, you said it again.
Said what, George?
Oh.
Oh, that. It's not words, it's woes.
Woes?
Just thinking of all those poor chaps who went through the Japanese prisoner of war camps.
What Japs?
The prisoners of war.
Oh, those Japs.
Yes.
Why?
Why, what?
Why did you think of prisoners of war?
I don't know. I can't quite put my fingers on it. It was something to do with the Japanese water torture, I think.
Chinese, surely.
Chinese?
Yes, they're the water torture people.
Really? Apparently it's the constant drip that causes the problem. Never quite knowing when the next drip might drop. And the blessed relief when the drops stop dripping. But somewhere deep inside yourself you know that at some point, no matter how long the gap, remorselessly another drop will surely drip.
How awfully interesting.
What?
Your Chinese water torture thing.
Yes.
Ah, so...
Ah, sir, I didn't know you spoke the language, George.
I don't. There should have been a sort of pause between the ah and the so. Then I was going to continue.
Ah, so that's what it was.
Yes. Wonder where they got the taps.
What taps?
The China taps.
China taps?
Just for the Chinese drips.
Local plumber, probably.
Yellow pages.
More than likely.
Right, that's that one finished.
Thank the Lord.
Is there anything else you want typed before I go off to my class?
No, you dash off and get some practice in. That's the answer. Lots and lots of practice.
Would you like me to call back this evening to show you how I'm developing?
No, thank you.
George?
Perhaps not. Must just back to Hillary.
Well done, George.
Right, well, I'll be away then.
And Busty?
Yes?
You will be on time tomorrow.
Oh, but of course, this morning was a total one-off event.
Oh, that's good to hear.
So see you at the crack tomorrow.
Pardon?
Crack of dawn.
Ah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Charming girl. Lovely to have her around.
Yes, very pleasant. Provided she can get her timekeeping together, that is.
Well, first mornings are always difficult. Finding routes and what have you.
You could be right. Time will tell. Funny thing is, now she's left, all my thoughts and depressions, read the Chinese water torture, have left with her.
How awfully interesting.
Yes, fascinating. Wonder what it can be that brings it on. Well, George, have you found it?
Not yet.
Well, keep searching. We're going to have our babysitting group ringing in any second now for their assignments for this evening. And we've just got to find the addresses and booking files so we can tell them where they're off to.
Well, I've looked under baby, babysitting, brats, children, kids, offspring, flesh of my flesh, etc. There just doesn't seem to be any heading left to look under. Couldn't we just wait till Busty arrives and ask her where she filed it?
She never does arrive, George. We'll be lucky if she's here by lunchtime, if the last few days raining to go by. First morning, trouble with the car. Next, trouble with the buses. Yesterday, having to go back home because she's laddered her tights. It's just not good enough, George. She'll just have to pull her socks up or she's out.
Well, so long as she doesn't pull them up in front of me again, Charles. My heart can't stand that sort of pace.
So, that's what happens when you judge your chocolates by the picture on the box.
When you say you in that tone of voice, Charles, you're not suggesting by any chance that her employment here was totally my responsibility, are you?
Oh, certainly not, George. I was just as much to blame as you were for letting my better judgment be overwhelmed by the waterworks. But you did drool slightly more than me, on balance, over the chocolate box itself.
That is an absolutely dreadful thing to say.
Shh. This will be her now.
Good morning, boys. How are we this fine, beautiful morning?
We are not boys, and it is not by any means good morning. It is, if anything, nudging good lunchtime.
I say, Charles, don't you think you're being a bit uncivil?
Not as uncivil as I'd like to be, George.
Oh, Charles, a touch tetchy, are we?
We have spent half our morning wending our way through the files, guessing at headings so we could trace the paperwork on the most successful venture of our business to date. Subcontract doggy walking, granny guarding, and child sitting. If anything legal is to become renowned for its efficiency, having a filing system that's efficient would be a good first step. So, what do you say to that, Miss Bustrom?
And who got out of bed the wrong side this morning?
That is no answer. Your performance over the last few days has been useless to the nth degree. The office is in a chaos that makes its previous chaos look like calm. You are, madam, to office routine what the Third Reich was to Europe in 1940. Not to put too fine an edge on it, you are useless. Oh, God.
I hope you don't mind my saying this, Charles, but that was totally churlish.
It had to be said, George.
She might have had some very good reason to be late. Another lad in her stockings, perhaps. But be that as it may, it is no reason to compare our new secretary to the Hitler's Horde's rape of Europe. Quite honestly, Charles, I think you should apologise, pat platonically, and say, there, there, there.
No, I will not apologise, pat platonically, and say, there, there, there. I meant every word I said.
Charles, you seem to be losing track of the fact that you are an officer and a gentleman.
Ex-officer.
But not an ex-gentleman. A lady's in some distress. Would there, 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 and a platonic pat on the shoulder be too high a price to pay for her consolation?
Well,
Would it, Charles?
Oh, very well, damn it. I'll give her a quick there, there, there. But I must assure you, George, my heart isn't in it. She doesn't really deserve a there, there, there.
Good chap. I knew your true nature would win through in the end. Well, go on, Charles.
There, 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 Miss Bustrom. Don't cry. There, there, there.
Here we are, Charles. Brought you a large one. Thought it might calm you down.
I do not need calming down, George. I'm as calm as calm. Calmer than that, perhaps.
Gosh, we are in a mood, aren't we?
Thank you all the same. A large one will settle my nerves nicely.
Nice of her to stay in the office so we could pop out to lunch like this. Even though it is her day for going off early to typing class.
Oh, yes, absolutely charming, considering we're having to pay her double time for working through a lunch break.
It's not her fault she was late this morning.
Of course not.
What an amazing thing to happen. That car bursting into flames in front of hers. And her having to pull those people to safety from the wreckage. And getting that chap to hospital like that. Amazing.
Amazing indeed. And managed to do it without getting one smudge on her pristine blouse or putting one hair out of place. She came in looking smoother than the average film star fresh from a Warner Brothers forest fire. Amazing.
Charles, you're not suggesting it was a fib.
No, George, I'm not suggesting it was a fib. I'm stating it was a damn great whopping big lie.
Charles!
You've got to face facts, George. The woman is a sexy charlatan. She fits into the secretarial profession as comfortably as Attila the Hun would have fitted into the position of guardian of a 1 o'clock club. Sorry, George. She will have to go forthwith.
But what if she cries again?
Earplugs, George.
Pardon?
That's the answer, earplugs. And a pack-a-mac each from Woolies.
But...
No more buts, George, and no more there's. Come on. This is forceful executive time. She's got to be got rid of. Forthwith.
You won't expect me to tell her, will you?
Well, of course not. It'd be somewhat unfair, as you're so obviously besotted with her.
Now, that's not true, Charles.
So, why that tiny trickle of tears in the pub?
I got something in my eye.
That's why you kept mumbling, poor Busty, poor Busty, while you rubbed it dry, I suppose.
Well, it will be a blow for her. Poor, innocent little waif.
Poor innocent waif, indeed. If she'd been in the Garden of Eden, George, she'd have probably talked the snake into eating the apple himself. Then sold the core to Adam, leaving her in the middle with a prophet, saying it was nothing to do with me, Lord.
Shh. I wasn't speaking, it was you.
That our phone?
Must be.
Why isn't she answering it?
Oh, no. She may have been so upset by your reaction to her lateness, she's hung herself from a suspender belt.
Don't be ridiculous, George. Her suspender belt's only 2'6" from the floor. She'd need more height than that. Come on, let's see what's going on.
I daren't look, Charles. Tell me, what do you see?
An empty office with a phone ringing.
And Busty?
She's not here. Ah, an empty office without the phone ringing.
Charles, there's a note propped against the typewriter.
Oh, read it, George.
I can't, Charles. No, don't ask me.
Come on, George. Buck up, man.
Oh, very well. My darling boys, as I sit here, lonely through your lunch, I see the errors of my ways and the path that I must take. I think dear silver-haired Charles, so courtly, so courteous, deserves better than I. And as for gorgeous Georgie, what hope will there ever be of winning his heart with the name of his loved one, Hilary, constantly on his lips? So I must leave you both now. I will not stop to say goodbye, because that will be too much to bear. But I thank you for giving me the opportunity to see that my ambitions were misguided. Charles is right. I am a terrible secretary. Would you excuse me for a moment, Charles?
But of course, I could do with a quick blow myself. Carry on, George.
Now I have seen where my true ambition lies. Your example has given me the confidence to set up in business by myself.
Gosh, isn't that jolly nice?
So the few things I've taken from the office in lieu of the money outstanding to me should get me underway nicely. Goodbye, George and Charles, forever.
Few things she's taken? What on earth has she taken?
Lord knows.
Check the petty cash, George.
15p.
Can't be that. That's how much was in it in the first place. Anything legal? Can I help you? What? No, I've no idea where Miss Bustrom's phone number is. She's not working here anymore. She asked you to ring her about what? Well, I'll tell you what your assignment is tonight, Deirdre. Hang on, I'll check the list now. Babysitter file, out of the in tray, George, please. Deirdre wants a time check.
It's not here.
What?
The babysitter file's not here.
Deirdre, I'll call you back. Let me look. It's gone.
Gone?
Yes. Check the filing cabinets, George.
Very well. It's empty, Charles. This one as well. But, Charles, that's our babysitting, dog walking, granny gossip lists, etc., all missing.
Yes.
Whatever can have happened to them?
I should have thought that was apparent, George.
I'm not with you, Charles.
Miss Bustrom's note. The few things she's taken from the office. George, she's stolen all our files, plus our sitters, walkers, and gossipers list.
Oh, no, I can't believe that. Not Busty.
Yes, your precious Busty. And you know what she's going to do? She's going to do the same as us. Set up a help agency with our files.
But that's dastardly. What on earth can we do, Charles?
Well, nothing much we can do, can we? Except start again, from scratch.
But we're also back to not having anyone to answer the phone as well. What on earth can we do about that, Charles?
Very simple. The machine, George.
Ah, yes.
We're out of the office and we are on the job, striving most mightily to make an honest bob.
You've been listening to Anything Legal by Wally K. Daly, starring Donald Hewlett as Charles and Michael Knowles as George. Also this week, Sherrie Hewson featured as Belinda Bustrom and Helena Breck as the job applicant. The theme music was written by Jim Parker and the programme was produced by John Fawcett Wilson.